Hi Amy, hi Cindy. This is Joe Wamsley, Christopher Tull, and Stephen Scolari, and we're presenting for the Citizens for Fire Prevention Committee. Our first slide is a slide on the development of our process. First thing we did was we met as a group to determine our charity or nonprofit. We obviously settled on the Citizens for Fire Prevention Committee, or the CFPC. Once we all agreed on the CFPC, we discussed our potential fundraising goals and our strategies. As you know, we decided we were going to try to collect $600 in monetary donations, as well as try and get about 45 smoke detectors. After this, we assigned individual tasks and roles. As a group, we all decided that we would all be salespeople. We elected Chris to be our project manager, and I assumed the role as treasurer. And then one of the other things that we did for the development of the process was we contacted directly the CFPC to try and get pertinent information in regards to what they really wanted, what they were looking for, and how they could help us achieve our goals. One of the things that we found out through our discourse with them was that they were really looking for monetary donations more than in-kind donations. So we tried to focus on that. However, we felt that we also wanted to get the smoke detectors just to help ourselves with our project and selling and the purposes of the class, as well as to give our target audience or our target members an option. If they didn't want to give a monetary donation, they had another choice as well. So
Yeah.
So for our execution, we contacted the CFPC to discuss our project and campaign objectives. That was first. And for the pre-campaign setup, we set up a PO box for monetary / in-kind donations. And we also set up a PayPal because we wanted to give everyone some options how to donate. We just didn't want to stick to one thing. We developed a Facebook event to raise money / awareness, because that's real big, the social media nowadays. So we figured we wanted to hit that target audience. We also posted an internal bulletin board at work just to get the cause going. We solicited donations from home improvement and retail stores, and we collected money from other contacts or sources. And some of the assessments that I went through, I shared the Facebook event a few times just to try to get the word out. I raised awareness at work. I was handing out information, talking about it. So everyone was interested in it, so that was a relief there. I did collect money from family and friends. My biggest collection was from a Super Bowl party. Almost all my buddies collected $5, so that was real generous. I had a couple of moms give some money, so that was real nice. I did go to Lowe's and Home Depot, and I spoke to the members of the CFPC to try and get the tax ID exempt number and a copy of the letterhead. And that's where it leads to some challenges. Getting donations from home improvement / retail stores due to internal policies. So that was a challenge there. They wanted a tax exempt ID number. They wanted it on letterhead. So I was having some trouble there. So I was trying to get the tax ID exempt number on letterhead for the CFPC, but they were giving me a lot of trouble because they didn't really know me, so I kind of needed to go more into that with them. So that was probably my biggest challenge. They didn't really trust me because I wasn't a part of it. And then just to close it out, people denying the Facebook event, doesn't really sound like a big deal, but people were saying, oh, they weren't accepting the invitation. And I was kind of like, oh, I just need some money, but kind of something silly. But at the end of the day, it did help. We did get a few donations from the Facebook event, so I was glad to spread the word out social media-wise.
You're live.
So I'm just going to explain a little bit about my assessment. Working as the group's official treasurer, I purchased the PO box at the post office by my house, and I checked it periodically. I also created the PayPal profile for the electronic donations. Along with Steve, I also shared the Facebook event with my friend list, and I also went to Lowe's, Home Depot to request smoke alarm donations. Some of the challenges that I faced As Steve mentioned, getting the donations from the home improvement stores and the retail stores was very difficult. Dealing with the post office hours, my post office closes at 5 o'clock. It was very difficult to get there during the weekdays, but I made time as best I could to be able to get there. And then just my own personal hesitation with oversharing the Facebook event. I didn't want to seem like we were trying to beg people for donations.
Okay, so for my personal self-assessment, some of the things that I did was I actually created and shared the Facebook event. So I went through one night and just typed up some stuff that that we had talked about in our proposal and added a little bit of extra things to entice people to actually join the Facebook event and donate. And I presented it to my group members, to proofread to make sure everything looked good before I actually submitted it ahead of time. Coordinated and facilitated group meetings and tasks. So basically what it was, I coordinated the time frames that we would meet during the day. It was during lunch or after work to work on the project and, just kind of do an overview exactly of what exactly we were looking and planning to do that week, that day, what people had done so far, what kind of donations they have done, what kind of stuff I was saying, like, I think you're really good at doing this, maybe you should try and focus on, trying to sell to these people or, focusing on doing other things, like, maybe you should look at the Facebook event and try and see if there's a way, we can edit that to make it sound like it's better. After speaking with my group members, they said they went to Lowe's and Home Depot and they had issues with some internal policies of requiring the tax ID number or letterhead. So I decided to go to two different stores, which was BJ's Wholesale and True Value, hoping that I might have a different luck and maybe if there's ones that are around their area, they could do the same thing. But however, they had the same issue. They had the little internal policies there that said, we need to have some kind of proof that this is going towards a donation. Since we were affiliated with them, they were a little hesitant to give us some donations for that reason. And I also was the primary contact with the CFPC officials and sent them emails and constant contact with the president through emails and phone calls. So some of my challenges I had that were personal for me was there were two other groups that were sampling our workplace audience, so it was a little difficult to try and, you don't really want to compete with them because everything is going to a good cause, to a charity, but you want to make sure that your charity stands out there so people know that they can donate to more than just one thing and not donate to just one charity. Developing coordinating efforts with the CFPC. When we talked with the president, he was a little hesitant at the time because he thought that, he didn't know if he didn't know who we were. He thought we were affiliated with a credit union in South Carolina. So going back and forth, we just had to, explain a little bit more about what we were trying to do and provide him with our teachers' information so he could prove to the fact that, this is really a legitimate organization we're trying to help out. And after a while, we built that trust with him, and he was, very open about sharing information with us. And difficult was the time constraints for the project, not so much that it was a short time frame, but the fact was that, we didn't have enough time to develop that relationship with the stores and stuff where we could get those kind of donations that we needed. So, we're always looking to, improve things that are going along. So one of the things we talked about was, do more research. It might have been better for us in our proposal period to contact these home and goods stores and see what they needed and early on. And that way they could have provided the information a little bit sooner to us, the CFPC, and they might not have been so hesitant to provide us with that information. Also, we relied a lot on technology in this. Phone, email, Facebook event. There wasn't really a lot of interaction or personal approaches that we took, and that's something people like to see. That they see that you have a personal approach or interactive approach with doing something. They see that you're passionate about it and that you care about what's actually going to happen, and they're more willing to donate to your cause. Develop a greater sense of self-confidence in our sales and skills tactics. We don't primarily do sales in our regular everyday job, so it's something that we weren't completely comfortable with. It's something that we had to develop over time. And there's a real big difference between selling for a business and selling for a charity, because a charity you're trying to get a donation, so it's a little bit different with a business agreement. You're losing a sale. It's something that you're always worried about losing a sale or losing a donation, but you always move on to the next one. But with a business, it's a little bit different. That could mean the difference between the company doing well and not doing well. The charity is always going to end up with donations. Someone's always going to be willing to donate, but a business, you might miss out on that contract that might be important. So finally, we stopped in to the CFPC and we ended up talking with the deputy chief that was there, and he was willing to take a picture with us. Overall, we ended up raising over $840 in donations and monetary, and about we ended up getting 4 smoke alarms that equaled out to about maybe a little over $90. So we ended up with almost we ended up with $909 total in value, and it was a very rewarding experience, and we're looking forward to working with them in the future.